Before dawn breaks across endless grasslands, a young Lakota warrior named White Eagle whispers ancient prayers to his ancestors. Today, like countless generations before him, survival depends entirely on courage, wisdom, and the sacred bond between man and thundering beast roaming these plains. Imagine a world where your homeland stretches beyond every horizon, where 60 million buffalo thunder across sacred earth like living storms. Now imagine watching that world disappear forever, one broken promise, one stolen acre, one betrayed treaty at a time. They called themselves Otsiti Sakowin, the 7 council fires burning bright across the Great Plains. To outsiders, they were simply Sioux, a name meaning snake, enemy. But names matter less than the blood spilled, defending what ancestors believed sacred and eternal. Picture this moment. 10-year-old running bear receives his first bow, carved from lightning-struck ash wood, blessed by weathered elders. In his small trembling hands lies not just a weapon, but enormous responsibility to feed his people, protect his family, honor his bloodline. You've heard their names whispered in American legends: Sitting Bull, Crazy Horse, Red Cloud, American Horse. But behind every legendary warrior stood thousands of unnamed fighters who chose death over surrender, honor over survival, dignity over comfortable defeat. The year 1866 marks watershed betrayal. A treaty signed in good faith, then broken before ink dried completely. Trust shattered like morning frost under blazing summer sun. War became inevitable, not chosen by proud warriors, but forced upon people defending their children's future. Dakota winters teach harsh lessons that separate the strong from the weak. When howling blizzards bury the earth for endless months, only the truly prepared survive starvation. Women spend autumn preparing pemmican, dried buffalo meat mixed with fat berries, concentrated life force. A warrior's lance isn't merely wood and sharpened iron forged by human hands. Crafted from ash trees struck by sacred lightning, decorated with eagle feathers earned through acts of witnessed courage, it carries spiritual power, grandfather's strength flowing through grandson's steady arm. Listen closely to the drumbeat echoing across time and space itself. Each rhythm tells a different story: victory dances, mourning songs, preparation for war, celebration of life. The drum's heartbeat connects earth to sky, warrior to ancestors, present moment to eternity beyond. Buffalo approach like rolling thunder, 30 million strong across Great Plains, stretching beyond imagination. For Lakota hunters, this isn't just meat for hungry families. It's everything needed for survival. Shelter, clothing, tools, medicine, spiritual connection. One animal sustaining entire civilizations for countless millennia. Young spotted elk learns infinite patience from his grandfather, crouched motionless beside a muddy water hole for hours. The hunter who moves first, whispers the weathered old man through cracked lips, feeds his enemies. The hunter who waits feeds his people. Consider the bow's elegant simplicity, hiding deadly complexity beneath. Horn, wood, sinew bound together, flexibility and strength unified in this perfect harmony. In truly skilled hands, arrows find targets at distances rifles cannot match. Technology doesn't always mean superiority. Sometimes ancient wisdom trumps modern progress. War comes wearing many different faces depending on the season. Sometimes it's defending hunting grounds from crow raiders seeking easy prey. Other times it's protecting sacred Black Hills from gold-hungry prospectors who see only profit where ancestral spirits dwell. The War Club's brutal efficiency reflects hard truths about survival in unforgiving wilderness. Wrapped in rawhide, studded with stone or metal, it ends conflicts with absolute finality. In close combat, there's no room for hesitation. Only survival or death awaits. She who walks with thunder earned her powerful name during the bloody Battle of Rosebud, carrying wounded warriors from the field, while bullets sang around her like angry hornets seeking flesh. Courage knows no gender boundaries when survival demands sacrifice from everyone. Philosophy born from necessity guides every decision. Take only what you need, use everything you take, waste nothing. Thank the spirit of everything given. This wasn't mere tradition. It was mathematical precision ensuring survival across countless generations of hardship and abundance. Morning Star rises over camp circles arranged according to ancient laws written in blood and memory. Each type's placement tells a story: clan relationships, spiritual hierarchies, defense strategies proven effective. Order emerges from seeming chaos, purpose from apparent randomness, survival from careful planning. The shield isn't just protection, it's autobiography painted in sacred symbols and colors. Each design records deeds, visions, spiritual encounters earned through sacrifice. Warriors carry their entire life stories into battle, displaying honor earned through blood for all enemies to witness. You cannot understand their desperate fury without understanding what they lost forever. Imagine losing your home, your church, your grocery store, your cemetery, simultaneously and permanently. Now multiply that anguish across entire nations, generations unborn, futures stolen before they could unfold naturally. Crazy Horse never signed a treaty, never lived on reservations, never surrendered while breath remained in his proud body. Some compromises cut so deep into the soul that death becomes preferable to betrayal, honor more valuable than survival itself. Trading posts bring new weapons, rifles, ammunition, steel knives sharper than stone. But these gifts carry hidden costs no one explains clearly. Dependency replaces self-sufficiency. Debt replaces reciprocity. Gradual enslavement masquerades as progress, and mutually beneficial trade relationships between equals. The horse transformed warfare completely, revolutionizing tactics developed over centuries. What once required days of careful stalking could now be accomplished in minutes of fury. Mobility became everything. Strike fast, retreat faster, live to fight another day when conditions favor victory. Winter counts record history on buffalo hides using pictographic symbols understood across tribal boundaries. Each year remembered by its defining event: the year the stars fell, the year of much buffalo, the year the white men came like locusts. Red Cloud understood something his contemporaries missed completely in their righteous anger. You cannot defeat an enemy you cannot comprehend fully. He studied American military tactics, learned their weaknesses, exploited their predictable strategies with devastating effectiveness that surprised everyone, including himself. Women's weapons were different but equally deadly in their own way. Diplomatic skills, spiritual knowledge, economic control, social influence, soft power that could end wars or start them, depending entirely on wisdom's application, or dangerous absence from crucial decisions. The Sundance binds community together through shared sacrifice that transcends individual pain. Warriors pierce their flesh, dance until exhaustion, seek visions to guide their people. Physical pain becomes spiritual strength. Individual suffering serves collective survival. Personal agony births communal wisdom. Look into Sitting Bull's eyes in that famous photograph taken by white men. Behind the stoic expression burns unquenchable fire, a leader who would rather die free than live enslaved, choosing dignity over safety, honor over comfortable surrender to inevitable forces. Medicine bundles contain power beyond material understanding or scientific explanation. Sacred objects, blessed herbs, ancestral relics, spiritual weapons more potent than any rifle, connecting warriors to forces beyond human comprehension and earthly limitation, bridging seen and unseen worlds through faith alone. The Battle of Little Bighorn, 2,500 warriors united against common threat, despite ancient grudges. For one shining moment, hereditary enemies fought side by side, proving unity could overcome seemingly insurmountable odds through shared purpose transcending tribal divisions and personal hatred. Tomahawks evolved from practical tools to deadly weapons to sacred symbols over generations. Stoneheads gave way to steel, functional designs became artistic expressions, practical implements transformed into ceremonial objects carrying cultural significance across generations, embodying the evolution of warfare itself. Ghost dance promises spoke to desperate hearts seeking miraculous salvation from suffering, dead relatives returning, buffalo herds restored, white men disappearing like bad dreams. When hope becomes scarce, people embrace miracles, regardless of their impossibility or the consequences of belief. Every scar tells a story of survival etched in flesh and memory. Cut fingers from arrow making, burn marks from forge work, battle wounds from defending family honor. Their bodies became living libraries, recording histories that written words could never capture or preserve accurately. Scouts face impossible choices that tear souls apart, loyalty to their people versus survival of their families under military protection. Some choose collaboration, others resistance. Both paths lead through moral wilderness, where right and wrong blur together into gray confusion. The talking wire, telegraph, spreads news faster than horses can travel across vast distances. Information becomes a weapon more powerful than arrows. Coordination enables strategies previously impossible to execute. Technology tilts ancient balance toward inevitable conclusion that favors industrial civilization over traditional ways. Children learn warfare through games, mimicking adult behaviors with miniature weapons carved by loving fathers. Play becomes practice, laughter masks preparation for futures that will demand every skill, every reflex, every lesson absorbed unconsciously during innocent childhood games and competitions. Sacred pipes channel prayers to the Great Spirit dwelling beyond the sky. Smoke carries human words to divine ears, creating bridges between earthly struggles and spiritual solutions. Some battles require more than physical weapons. They demand intervention from forces beyond mortal understanding. Buffalo soldiers, African American cavalry, face Lakota warriors across cultural divides neither side fully comprehends. Both groups fight for survival in a nation that views them as obstacles to progress, enemies united by shared marginalization and systematic exclusion from American dreams. The reservation system promises peace through separation of hostile peoples. But barbed wire cannot contain spirits that soared free across endless grasslands for generations. Caging eagles doesn't make them chickens. It makes them desperate, dangerous, and utterly unpredictable in their fury. Wounded Knee Creek runs red with innocent blood spilled by frightened soldiers. 29 Medal of Honor recipients massacred unarmed men, women, children seeking shelter. America celebrates this victory while burying its conscience beneath frozen ground stained with shame and guilt. Traditional weapons give way to desperation's tools forged from necessity and rage. Kitchen knives, farming implements, broken bottles, anything sharp enough to cut hope from despair, dignity from defeat, resistance from surrender becomes sacred armament blessed by ancestors' spirits. Language dies harder than people, carrying entire worlds within its words and grammar. When elders pass away carrying ancient words unspoken to younger ears, entire universes disappear forever. Some battles are fought with tongues, not tomahawks. Preservation becomes the ultimate act of warfare. The Iron Horse brings death disguised as progress and civilization's benefits. Railroads divide hunting grounds, transport settlers, supply armies with ammunition and supplies. Each mile of track laid becomes another mile of ancestral territory lost to industrial appetite that devours everything sacred. Medicine men blend spiritual power with psychological warfare that affects minds and hearts. Chants that inspire courage, rituals that ensure protection, ceremonies that bind communities together, invisible weapons more powerful than steel blades or bronze bullets flying through smoke-filled air. Sitting Bull's surrender doesn't end resistance. It transforms it into something more subtle and dangerous. From armed rebellion to cultural preservation, from battlefield tactics to boardroom strategies, warfare adapts to new realities while maintaining ancient purposes and sacred goals passed down through generations. The boarding school's stated mission chills blood. Kill the Indian, save the man. Children stolen from families, forbidden their languages, beaten for practicing traditions. Cultural genocide wears the mask of educational opportunity and civilizing progress, hiding systematic destruction behind humanitarian rhetoric and good intentions. Consider this revealing paradox that exposes American hypocrisy. The same government that declared Native Americans savage and uncivilized simultaneously feared their military prowess enough to deploy thousands of soldiers, sophisticated weapons, coordinated campaigns against them with utmost seriousness. Beadwork becomes resistance hidden in plain sight from oppressive authorities. Traditional patterns hidden within acceptable designs, ancient stories encoded in decorative elements, cultural DNA transmitted through artistic expression when words become forbidden, dangerous, punishable by violence and forced separation from family. Modern powwows echo ancient war dances that once prepared warriors for battle. Veterans' honor songs blend traditional rhythms with contemporary struggles against different enemies. The drum still beats, connecting past warriors with present soldiers, battlefield courage with everyday survival against poverty. Black Hills remain sacred despite Supreme Court decisions, congressional acts, presidential proclamations declaring them government property. Gold extraction cannot diminish spiritual significance embedded in stone and soil. Some values transcend legal frameworks, monetary compensation, governmental authority. Connection endures beyond conquest and time. Crazy Horse's missing grave protects him from tourist exploitation and commercial desecration. His people understood that some things must remain hidden, sacred, untouchable by curious hands. True victory sometimes requires disappearing rather than being displayed, celebrated, commodified for profit and entertainment. Alcohol becomes a weapon more devastating than the cavalry charges or artillery bombardments. Trading posts exchange whiskey for furs, dignity for dependency, cultural strength for liquid weakness that destroys from within. Destruction wears many disguises. Sometimes battles are fought with bottles, not bullets. Intertribal warfare complicated resistance efforts when unity was desperately needed most. Ancient grudges prevented cooperation against common enemies threatening everyone equally. Crow Scouts guided Custer to Little Bighorn. Division served conquest better than any military strategy ever devised by West Point generals. The buffalo's deliberate disappearance was calculated genocide disguised as market hunting for profit. Killing these animals starved entire nations into submission more effectively than military campaigns ever could. Economic warfare disguised as commercial enterprise achieved what armies couldn't accomplish through direct violence. Native American code talkers would later use tribal languages to protect American military communications during world wars against fascist enemies. The same tongues once forbidden in schools became instruments of national defense, linguistic weapons protecting the nation that tried to silence them. Each eagle feather represents an act of courage, earned through deeds witnessed by the community members who can verify claims. Modern warriors earn them serving overseas, protecting neighborhoods, overcoming addiction and despair. Honor adapts while maintaining ancient standards that transcend time and changing circumstances. DNA analysis reveals these weren't separate tribes, but extended family networks stretching across continents and centuries. Kinship bonds stronger than political boundaries, genetic connections deeper than linguistic differences. Family fighting for family, relatives defending relatives against outsiders seeking to destroy bloodlines. The AIM occupation of Alcatraz proclaimed that unused federal land should return to native ownership by law. Symbolic warfare using legal precedents, media attention, public sympathy, new tactics for ancient struggles continue with different weapons, but unchanged determination to survive and thrive. Today, their descendants carry forward the struggle through different weapons that cut just as deep. Law degrees instead of war lances, environmental activism replacing buffalo hunts, cultural preservation substituting for armed resistance against overwhelming odds that haven't disappeared, merely changed form. The real victory wasn't measured in battles won or lost, but in survival itself against impossible circumstances. Despite everything, genocide, forced assimilation, cultural destruction, systematic oppression, the sacred fires still burn bright. The people remain strong. Their spirits endure through everything. Standing Rock demonstrates that the warrior spirit lives on in new forms of resistance. Pipeline protests echo ancient resistance patterns: protect the water, defend the earth, preserve the future for generations unborn. Technology changes, principles endure unchanged through centuries of struggle. Their prophecies spoke of a time when environmental destruction would threaten all humanity equally. Perhaps their struggle was never just about their own survival, but about teaching the world different ways of living sustainably with nature instead of against it. Visit any reservation today and you'll find stark contradictions that define modern native life. Poverty alongside resilience, despair mixed with hope, ancient wisdom struggling against modern problems. The war continues, fought with different weapons, pursuing unchanged goals passed down through generations. The thundering hooves are silent now across empty grasslands where cities stand. The buffalo are gone forever. But if you listen carefully to the wind across the remaining grasslands, you can still hear the drums, still feel the heartbeat of nations. They fought with everything they had against impossible odds. Arrows against rifles, horses against railroads, tradition against progress, love against hatred, honor against greed. They lost the battles but won something more important. They remained themselves despite everything. The last word belongs to them in their own sacred language. Mitakuye Oyasin, all my relations, everything connected. In those three words lies their greatest weapon and ultimate victory, the understanding that everything is connected, everyone is family, survival requires collective responsibility for all life.